and welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, per usual, is my co-host, Joe DeMarini. And joining us today is also from Broad Street Hockey, Jacob Russell. How we doing today, boys?
Dope.
I'm doing pretty well.
All right, yeah. Jacob and I we're gonna do a post game. I'm doing good. I'm doing well for a Monday. This is normally a day when I would probably try to nap because I'm feeling kind of tired, but had some tea before this. I got some caffeine in me. I'm feeling good, and we have plenty to talk about with this Flyers team.
What I haven't talked to you since you came back from across the pond. Is the tea thing? Is that a consistent thing for you, or is that a new development?
No, my wife
arrival
loves tea. She that is her drink of choice. She drinks probably 4 or 5 cups a day. I wish I could get into coffee. I like the smell of coffee, but tea has just always been a good thing. A good thing I enjoy. So yeah.
Always sorry to get off into a random tangent 2 minutes in is always good.
Oh, that's the way to do it. Yeah, and I also have always said H instead of H. I say H. I said that last podcast, and Joe was like, "Wait, you're back from Ireland and you're saying H?" I'm like, "No, I've said H now for at least a few years."
The NHL, yeah.
The NHL, yeah.
BSH.
That's a Canadian thing. I think that's.
Is it Canadian too?
I'm thinking it in my head. NHL.
Like H or H.
NHL. I don't know.
No, that's the American pronunciation.
I don't think I would say NHL. Like the NHL is like its own thing, but like
whatever.
The BSH. I don't know. It's weird. It's a case by case basis. But yeah, very.
I never thought about that once in my life.
No. Very hyperbole type start to the podcast here, and that was when you two were last together. When Steve Ducot joined you guys on the show there after the Typho injury, and you know what? I'm missing Typho. I really am missing Typho. I feel like the Flyers win one of these past 3 games if he's in the lineup, but instead 3 straight overtime or shootout losses, back-to-back shootout losses. It feels like we're right back at home for the Flyers losing in shootouts again, right, guys? It's just the dread of a shootout.
Feels bad, man. Feels real bad. It is what it is, though.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you get kind of accustomed to being good at it. So now that you start losing shootouts, which you inevitably should lose shootouts because they're really, really volatile. You can't really count on them for anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to get upset with it. Like, yeah, of course the Carolina Hurricanes in a skills competition are going to beat the Philadelphia Flyers. Like, yeah, that's probably going to happen.
Hey, ever since Trevor Zegras missed that penalty shot, he hasn't been able to score in the shootout. That was really like the deal breaker for him.
He scored in the games, which is ultimately the part that matters the most. But yeah, the whole like lockdown shootout extra point glitch, it doesn't seem to really be working in the same way it was last month, and that just makes these games that have just been, kind of dry at times, kind of just a battle, a fight to get the game tied, playing from behind a lot. I think it just makes those even more depressing to sit through at times, because you just get to the end, you're like, 0 for 3. Not even 1 for 3. It's 0 for 3. You're getting shut out in the shootout. It's not great.
Yeah, they didn't score 1 goal against Kochetkov or Bussy there. Bobby Brink Bobby Brink has 1 move, and Kochetkov knew it, and he poke checked him. Travis Konechny didn't try to use his move. He just tried to go in and shoot, which I was a bit disappointed by. But yeah, Flyers 4-game point streak, but 3-game losing streak. So you want to see it back on track. But of course, here, before we go too long, I wanted to shout out our sponsor, FanDuel. FanDuel has the Flyers at plus 145 to make the playoffs, which I was looking at the standings earlier. Like 4 teams in the Metro are better than the top of the Atlantic. Like, it's crazy how things are turned on its head this season.
Yeah, and the Metro, again, it's just been a lot of the same teams beating one another, I think. And then even if you look at where the Hurricanes beat the Flyers twice this weekend, Flyers still get 2 points out of that, those 2 games, right? So you're still gonna for the Flyers in a total isolation for the Flyers, it's almost like you split it, which is funny. But yeah, like you're still everyone's picking up points. The Islanders again gonna go to shootouts every single chance they get. Shootouts and overtime. So a lot of these teams are gonna do the exact same thing. They're all playing close games and they're all in one big glut of pretty decent, honestly, records.
Yeah, I mean, they all stink too, or they don't stink, but
they're
all
not.
kind of
none
like
of them seem
level.
like they're cup contenders at all.
No,
not even Carolina.
No,
like anywhere close.
Like Carolina's first in the Metro with 44 points. They're only 6 points ahead of the Flyers in the wild card spot, and I still don't believe the New York Islanders are going to keep this up for the entire season. Just there's no chance, right? I mean, maybe the Capitals take the first spot. I don't know.
Yeah, Sorokin's been insane since they brought in his goalie coach, so he's in the Vezina conversation now. But yeah, the Hurricanes are the only team that they beat the Flyers 8 straight times now. I think the Caps have won like 4 straight against the Flyers, so they have struggled against those better in division teams. But like Jacob, I think you wrote last week at BroadStreetHockey.com, like they've been keeping up in these games against elite teams, like that game against the Avalanche, against the Knights. They were up 2-0 against the Hurricanes. Like that was a disappointing loss, but they're not getting boat raced by anybody.
No, and they're picking up points, and in the division, they tend to play pretty well.
They're 5-1-3. They're 5-1-3 in the division.
They tend to pick up points in division, and that's in a environment that you find yourselves in now, where it's going to be, maybe 5 teams competing for a playoff spot at the end of the year, in your division. Never mind in the wild card as a whole, mixed with the Atlantic. That's what's going to end up mattering, is like how you play in the division and getting those OT losses and getting those OT shootout wins, right? Like that's why it was good to have Zegras pick up the extra point every time, every single time, right? Because that's what's going to end up making the difference. And there's a bigger conversation to be had of, is that even a good thing? Because that's not obviously sustainable when you get to the playoffs, and there is no benefit for losing in overtime anymore. There is no shootout.
You know what is a benefit to the Flyers? Quinn Hughes is not in the Eastern Conference.
That is good.
That's going to help. That's going to help a lot.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes not being in the East is fantastic. And going to the Wild, he's probably going to hit free agency. I can't see him extending with Minnesota unless they go on a playoff run. But just sticking in the Metro real quick, not to go too deep, but like the Hurricanes are the only team in the Metro I'm really scared of in the playoffs. Maybe the Capitals, because they're going to buy at the deadline to like try to help Ovi out for one last stand. But like the Islanders, I'm not scared of them. Like if they get the 3rd spot in the Metro and they face off against the Isles or the Caps, like
or the Devils,
you get Porter Martone for the playoffs. Like anything can happen.
Healthy Risto, healthy Forrester. Like I posted about this earlier. I look at the Flyers and the way they're playing these elite teams. They're not first round fodder. And it's not because the Flyers are an especially good team. It's just because the rest of the East is so weak. Yeah. You mentioned the Canes. I would also say the Lightning. I would not want to be the wild card that matches up against whoever wins the Atlantic, unless it's the Red Wings or the Habs, because I don't buy them either.
It's Tampa Bay in the Atlantic. It's just Tampa Bay.
Yeah, unless the Panthers go on a crazy run, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I don't want to match up against the Canes or the Lightning.
I don't think they have the horses for that this year. They'll probably to make the playoffs, yes, but to get back in the division race would be tough. But that's also what I was thinking of as well, because you look at the division, you look at the Metro as a whole. The Flyers are going to be the top team in the Metro. You look at either the Devils, if they're healthy with Hughes, or the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes, I think, against the peak Western Conference teams like your Colorado and your Dallas, I think the Hurricanes have no shot. I think the Hurricanes have about as much of a shot against those teams as the Flyers do in a series against the Hurricanes, essentially.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe the Hurricanes, this iteration of the Hurricanes, this iteration of the Devils, have shown. I don't trust like Anderson, Kochekov, Brandon Bussy, like
Bussy.
Like Bussy. What is it?
I think it's always they said Bussy on the broadcast. I think
they say every name differently now. Nobody has a standard pronunciation anymore.
Yeah.
There's no pronunciation guide. Yeah, it's just
no.
It's over. It's done. Zamula will never get his name spelled pronounced correctly.
Oh, true. And you look at like the Penguins this weekend blew back-to-back third period multi-goal leads. Are we supposed to be scared of them in the playoffs? The Rangers, they can't get together. They have just
Flyers,
but I'm not
obviously,
scared of them.
specifically the Flyers as a unique case would lose to the Penguins in the playoffs immediately and in 5 games. But for other teams, a team as decent as the Flyers, you really like. I don't know who's going to win that series. I probably don't even want to watch it, to be honest with you. It's probably going to stink unless it's like, again, you put the 2 characters into the series, right? Like the team's styles, some aging guys against a young team in the Flyers who don't necessarily have elite skill. It's not the best matchup, but it's like, the teams themselves, which is going to be fun. But it's not like those are elite. That's like a cup preview matchup.
Well,
at this point in time, and it's not; those teams aren't great.
The Penguins have Stuart Skinner in net now, so like, do we really think that they're going to go on a run?
I think they might go Seelovs at some point. I think it might be Seelovs time.
Seelovs, yeah, it could be Seelovs time.
I think it might be Seelovs time.
Yeah, Joe, you said like the Flyers they're not playoff fodder. Like you look at like last year in the playoffs, like it was the Canadians against the Capitals. People are like, oh, can the Canadians take down Washington? But like the Flyers have been playing playoff hockey. Like these past 3 games against the Canes, against the Knights, going back a bit against the Avs, even like this is playoff hockey. They're playing tight checking, special teams, goaltending is winning it. And that's without Forster, without Cam York for a few of those games. Like they're holding on. And I think they're only going to get better as they get Rick Tocchet systems and as Rick Tocchet coaches less scared. If he puts Michkov, he put Michkov on the power play late if it was the playoffs. Like he wanted to get a point though. So I understand that, but like you got to stop coaching scared. And I think once the playoff times come around, that's what it's all about, is getting your guys experience, because you have to get experience before you make a deep run.
What you said about Tocchet and his coaching of like Michkov, I think it applies to TK as well. After the Vegas game, Tortorella was on the panel with ESPN or whatever, and he was asked about Travis Konechny, and he said, "Oh, he's a wingnut." And he wants to say, "Look, you got to live with some of the mistakes, but if you overcoach Travis Konechny, he's not going to be effective. You kind of just have to let him go and live with the consequences, because what he can give you when he's on is so much more valuable than trying to coach it out of him." So I'm wondering if, Tocchet admitted we gave too much to Michkov at the beginning of the season and asked him to do a lot of different things, and we overloaded him. We've scaled it back. I wonder if maybe TK could benefit from some kind of similar like shift in coaching.
The thing that I always wonder is like, I obviously didn't play a very high level of hockey, right? But you think about what are exactly is Rick Tocchet asking Matvei Michkov to do? It shouldn't really be that difficult to coach a young forward who's going to have to make mistakes in order, but he's going to have to take chances. He's going to, if Matvei Michkov's ever going to be successful, he's ever going to score 90 points, he's ever going to be an all-star, if he's ever going to be what we think he could be, he's going to have to take and make a lot of bad plays. He's going to have to take a lot of chances and make a lot of bad plays on the way to inevitably rounding out his offensive game, becoming a superstar. So
is he still is
are they asking him to like
penalty minutes?
That's the type of thing. That's where I go back and forth with Michkov specifically, because he takes a stick infraction, it seems like, every game. You can't get more minutes. You can't get more responsibility when that is happening simultaneously. Even if he was scoring, if he was on a 5-game point streak, which he isn't, right? Like that's the type of thing with him. And I don't know if Gilbs wanted to get into it or not, but like he's looked good in spurts, but you can't take a tripping penalty, at the start of the second period, and then immediately you're on the penalty kill against the Hurricanes. You're like, oh, shit, man. Like now we're really in a hole here.
And to me, those penalties are like him trying too hard to play better defensively.
Yes.
Like their stick, their holds, their trips, like that is him trying to do these defensive asks from the coaching staff and then just not being very good at it.
It's a lot of reaching. It's a lot of overreach.
he gets beat and he's like, I'll take the penalty instead. Like he's not there yet, you know.
He's like, oh, I'm not going to be on the ice for a goal. Let me just take the penalty. He has 8 penalties in his last 9 games. Like that's why he's not on the ice in these key situations. And in some ways, I'm happy that we have Rick Tocchet as a shield for people to get mad at rather than Matvei Michkov. Because Matvei Michkov has come out and admitted, like, yeah, I didn't train well in the offseason. I came into camp out of shape. Like, he should be the one getting criticism. Like, why you had a great rookie year, sure. You weren't a Calder finalist. You're supposed to use that as motivation. Like, you got to come into this season ready to go. You got a new coach. Like, so that's why I'm kind of happy. People are like, oh, why is Tocchet doing this to Michkov? But it's Michkov doing it to himself with the penalties, with the trying too hard, with he's not showing what we saw from him last year. And it's still only 30, 31 games. He's not going to get too many minutes because he doesn't kill penalties. And the power play is just another topic altogether. That needs to be fixed entirely. But Michkov, yeah, he's a young player. He's going to be better for being coached by Tortorella, for being coached by Tocchet. But while you're going through it, it sucks. Like, it sucks. And he's 21 years old now. He still wouldn't even be here if he was still on the KHL contract. Like, he's still a few years away from really reaching that potential. And everyone keeps pointing to that Kucherov first few years. Like, it took him a few years to get build stuff up there. And he was getting more ice time. I went back and looked at Kucherov's second year. He was getting 15, 16 minutes a night, but it's the Matvei Michkov show. Because, like, we don't care if the Flyers are playing 600 hockey. We don't care that they have a bunch of great performance and losses. It's like, oh, how is Michkov doing? How is he playing? How is he being handled?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens now, and I think the crucial time is going to come after the Olympic break. I think you really want to see him after the Olympic break take off, and really start to rack up some points, make up for lost time, because I don't think he can catch up now. The schedule is going to be really condensed. He admitted, as you said, Gilbs, he wasn't in shape. He wasn't ready to go for the year. He didn't play well. He looks a step behind the play. And if we didn't have, such a positive opinion of Michkov for obvious reasons of seeing his talent, and last year, having a really, really good season, about as good as I think any of us really expected him to play, you could look at that and say, he's being lazy and he's taking these lazy penalties and he's just not producing to the same extent. And it doesn't seem like he's taking this seriously. Like, I don't believe that, but you're leaving that interpretation open to being propagated over the season for as long as you don't produce, for as long as it seems like he's taken a step back, and it seems like there's not really line mates where they feel comfortable putting him and keeping him alongside, right? Like, there hasn't been a Michkov version of the Typho, Cates, Brink line where that's the line. We're sticking with these guys when we have an offensive zone draw. We're sticking with these guys. We're putting these guys out there who want to score. I don't think Michkov's ever really been fully integrated, and especially not this season, in the part of that process. And a lot of that is Tocchet, and a lot of that is Michkov himself not necessarily being the greatest. He's not really presenting himself in the best way at some times.
Maybe Carl Grundstrom is the answer.
It is Carl. It was always Carl. I was always a Carl guy.
Yeah, I mean, it is episode 91, so it's fitting we're talking about
it. Is Carl.
But I feel like we are starting to see that typical Couturier Michkov line here on Money Puck. 58 minutes together, 62.9% expected goals for share. So offense should be coming from them, but and on paper that line makes sense. You got the two-way force down the middle. He's not what he once was, but he has as many points as Michkov does in one fewer games. Tippett, the shooter, the rush guy, and then Michkov, the playmaker. So hopefully that comes around, because I like what Zegras and Konechny are doing. Konechny has had some sick passes to set up Zegras on those goals. So, but I mean, the Cates line is the problem right now. But the thing is, Michkov needs more overtime ice time. Like, everyone's turning the puck over. Connecting had a bad turnover. Zegras had a bad change. Couturier
Tippett had a couple, I think, too.
And looking at the overtime ice time this season, Michkov 624, Dvorak has 826. Like, I understand playing the matchups and if you're defensive zone to win a draw, but like Kate's 946, like Konechny 1631, like 10 more minutes than Michkov has. Like,
is Dvorak a result of faceoffs? Like, is it just that he goes to take a draw and then gets stuck on the ice, or ends up playing because they won the draw?
I think he's largely the second guy over the boards, like center wise. I think a lot of these 3-on-3s. But like Michkov, that should be the 3-on-3 time. That should be when you put Michkov out there as the get right sort of. Even if he had a bad game, right? You get him out there in 3-on-3 because he's Matvei Michkov, right?
Yeah,
that's the whole this environment is built for a guy of his skill set, right? That's the whole reason why it exists. Him and Zegras, that should be who you put out there. Obviously, you don't want Zegras taking the draw, because you don't think he's going to win it. That's what the coaching staff believes. So regardless of whether or not we necessarily think that's going to be the case every time, that's what they believe. But that's why Dvorak's going to be out there. And he has been very good this year. I will stand up for Devo in that respect. But it should be Zegras and Michkov. TK can get out there, Tippett can get out there. Obviously, these guys are all going to get out there, but Michkov not being part of the rotation is just it's one of those things that I don't even know how you can begin to explain it in a rational way. If you're going to play him, even like this isn't him being benched, he's not being benched purposely for overtimes. He's just not getting as much burn as he necessarily should.
Yeah, they did give Carl Grundstrom a shift.
They did. So
go ahead. That's fine.
Defensive zone. That's 28 seconds left. That's fine. Get it out of the zone. But I have
put him in offensive zone. It's Carl Mania. We're going. It's Grunden time.
So the last 3 games at 3-on-3, Michkov has 107, Couturier 130, but Konechny 355, Cates 337, Zegras 327. Like, they shouldn't be getting double and triple the amount of ice time that Michkov is in overtime. Like, get Dvorak or Couturier out there first to win the draw. Get him off the ice and get Michkov on there. Get Zegras on there. Get Konechny. Get Tippett. Get your skill guys. Get Andre out there more. I'd love to see Andre. This is where he thrives. Like, the downside of his game is board battles and physicality. There's very little of that in 3-on-3. Like, get your most skilled guys out there, and maybe he will start coaching more to win in overtime after these 2 shootout losses.
If there's a guy who I would say should not be out there in 3-on-3 overtime, Sean Couturier may be the exact opposite of someone who is built for 3-on-3 overtime.
Did you see?
I don't even think he wants to. If he gets on a 2-on-1, I don't even think he wants to be there at this point. He's like Rick Ankiel pitching. Like, I don't understand what he's doing. He gets in an odd man situation and his brain falls apart.
Yeah, I don't know if he doesn't trust his hands or his shot, or if he just wanted to defer to Carl on that one penalty kill, 2-on-0. But
you can defer to Carl. Carl's the best player on the team. Carl's amazing, but you deferred to Carl when he was at the red line.
Yeah. Well, maybe he thought he could score from anywhere. He's that hot.
It's like you can see his thought process, like as he is terrifyingly switching through. Like, I'm gonna have to shoot this puck. Oh, no, I'm going to pass it. Oh, my God, now I'm going to have to shoot it. No, I got to get this to Carl.
Yeah. So while we're on the topic of Carl here, do we think we should put him up on the third line with Cates and Brink instead of Grebenkin? That line has been bad since Forster has been injured. I'm trying to find the expected goals here on
they did move.
Yeah, so 52 minutes. 29.7% expected goal share. Like, that is really, really hard to do. But they're outscoring the opposition 2-1 in those 50 minutes. So,
hockey, baby.
I don't know.
But they did move Grundstrom up there briefly.
Yes,
I think on Saturday it was.
I believe so.
I mean, sure, why not? Unless you're going to call up someone like Bump or Barkey, which doesn't make any sense either. You might as well just like flip flop Gulbenkian and Grundstrom for a little bit. Yeah. Although it does kind of ruin the aesthetic of like 9-1 on the left wing and 19 on the right wing, the 9-1-1-9.
I'll ruin the aesthetic, Joe. I'm fine with that. I'm
okay. I don't think anyone was really too,
because then you have 2 9 and 1 9 on the same teams on the same line, so that's okay there. But
it's not as good as the 6-9 pair anyway.
Definitely, never could be.
The 6-9 pair is always going to live in history as one of our greatest achievements.
Yeah, but like for all the talk we do about how the Flyers winger depth is so great, and I know that includes Martone, who's not here yet, and Bump and whatever, but like, and Forster is arguably the most important wing on the team, but like we're missing one winger. Why are we struggling so much to get 6 wingers that can play competent hockey? I mean, I guess maybe that's hating a bit too much on Gulbenkian, but 29%, I did not realize it was that bad. It's just like, it's tough. People are like, oh, you can just trade Bobby Brink for whatever. Okay, trade Brink, and then who you put in there? Like in a year or two, maybe Barkey, but like right now, this roster needs to be fully healthy, especially on forward, to be truly competitive.
Yes.
Yeah, and I like Gulbenkian. Like,
me
as
too.
Concept.
I love Gulbenkian.
I really like him from the Leafs. Like, even watching before he was a Flyer. Like, I like his game. I like his energy. But at a certain point, he does need to actually produce something of value on the score sheet, because he's not going to be a guy who's blowing people up along the boards. He's, as you said, he's obviously not going to be necessarily the puck, the holding the puck and keeping possession and all that, right? Like in the offensive zone, it hasn't been that he's necessarily filled that role either. So it's one of those things where if you have him and Grundstrom and Hathaway, you look up and down the lineup and you're like, guys, there's some guys here who all could technically be forward line wingers, and we're kind of having to scatter them throughout the roster, while guys like Tippett don't necessarily have game by game consistency. I think we could say, TK is starting to turn it around and things like that, but it is not necessarily, there's not like a glut of top 6 wingers or top 6 potential wingers that the Flyers have to try here, or like even middle 6 guys, I'd say. Mm-hmm. You're looking at the lower end of that right now, unless, like you said, maybe you throw the prayer out on Bump, but I don't think that's something you need to examine right now. I don't think you need to rush him for any reason, really, right? Like get him a full season in the AHL.
I will also just say Nikita Gulbenkian only has 29 career NHL games and he's 22. If this is like growing pains for him too, I can live with it, because he's still so early in his career. Like this season, it would be cool to go to the playoffs, but it's not the goal. I'd rather see Gulbenkian getting 50, 60 games this year and maybe starting to turn it on late, because if we've seen it before with Tyson Forster, when does he get hot? Like the last 2 months of the season. If this team is playoff bound and Gulbenkian starts turning on the Jets in April or even March, cool, but he has to play to get there, and I'm content to let him figure it out on the fly.
Yeah, it's by no means
at the expense of Carl Grundstrom getting minutes.
Yeah, it's by no means nothing negative about Gulbenkian, more just like an overview of the Flyers winger situation. And yeah, I'd rather have Gulbenkian playing these next few months, and then if Bump looks ready in a few months for a playoff push or whatever, bring him up, sure. But like, I think it's also showing that that Cates is a third line center. Like he's playing well, he's playing his matchups well, but it's showing that Forster was the guy on that line, and like all the underlying metrics show that.
Yeah, I mean, Noah Cates kind of came out of nowhere, right?
So he's a 3C, but like your centers are Dvorak, Cates, and Couturier. Like you have no centers right now on your roster that you're confident are going to be top 6 centers even next year, let alone 2 years down the road. So like the center just continues to be a huge issue, and that's partially due to Zegras playing so well on the wing, but that's a good problem to have, is Zegras being a point per game player on the wing. I'll take that over 60 points at center.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think we agree on that. We were having some discussions about that in the Slack earlier last week, and I think everyone was kind of on the same page with that for a large part, but it's one of those things. Like, I don't even think any of the three centers. I think Cates might be the closest, honestly. I don't think any of those three centers that you mentioned are even necessarily top 6 centers now. On a cup, I'm saying on a cup, like a cup team or like a good playoff team. Like, I can't see them. Sean Couturier being a second line center
Couturier
would be
like
good.
An elite 3C for
he would be. He would be.
But like, I feel like he'd be 100%. A good 2C for some teams. Like he could be Brock Nelson for the Avalanche.
Well, Brock Nelson's a goal scorer. He'd be like,
that's the thing. Brock Nelson kind of gets underrated. I don't really like him either, but he does score.
He'd be Philip Deneau.
He's better than Jordan Staal. He's better than Philip Deneau.
Philip Deneau's a 3C though.
Yeah,
he is now.
Yeah,
now he is. Yeah, at the time he wasn't, and at a time Sean Couturier was also a 1C. I don't know if this year he's a 2-3C for sure. I don't think he's a guy that you necessarily. I mean, right now he's playing the 1, or he's close to playing the 1, and that's a situation where I don't really know exactly what you're supposed to do with that. If you're going to have to put all of these minutes on him and Cates against the best players on another team, you're going to have to be playing a lot of defense, because I don't think these guys are going to be able to hold to hold the best lines in the league off for that long. You know,
I mean, if the Flyers had a real center, they would have been able to trade for Quinn Hughes.
I'm sorry, another great segue, Joe, but I do have one more point to make about Couturier. Two great Quinn Hughes segues so far, Joe.
I'm trying.
He's trying to tee it up.
But Sean Couturier, 55% expected goal share on the Flyers, by far the best, plus 9.16% relative to his teammates, which is 11th best in the league among forwards with at least 390 minutes played. So he's playing good two-way hockey. We just need to see the expected results from him, Tippett, and Michkov come to fruition. And then if that does, and those guys look like top 6 wingers, we'll complain less about the third line. And that's all it is.
And the fourth line.
No, we won't. We're still,
fourth line probably, yeah.
As long as Hathaway does something. Like, he couldn't even pick up an assist on Carl.
He's not going to.
Oh.
Okay. Now we can get to we have to shout out one more person, Ty Murchison. What a fantastic job he has done coming up, playing on the third pair. A few big hits in there as well, just leapfrogging over Adam Ginning or Yinning or Winning, whoever you're pronouncing his name.
That's what I'm saying.
Igor Zamula also, like, I know it's hand in this, but Helge Grans too. Like, Murchison didn't play in the preseason, came up, finished college last year, played a few games with the Phantoms, just been working his butt off, and shout out to him for coming in, filling in nicely, and probably being my most confident guy to fill in if there's an injury again.
And I love his jersey number. He's wearing the same number as Flyers legend Andrei Kuzmenko.
Kuz, man.
Yeah.
The celly where he just kind of throws his stick to the side after he scores a goal that lives in my head rent free. One of the best Flyers cellies of the last few years.
Yeah. That was such a strange time.
It was so weird.
That was so weird. And it was like it felt like probably a week, but it was probably more like 2 days. It was like, should we re-sign Andrei Kuzmenko?
Yeah.
Like, should we see? Like, could he be a good guy for Matvei Michkov to
wait? Can we play Kuzmenko with Michkov and Couturier and have it be a good line?
Danny Brier's genius here. Look at this guy.
The Flyers had to convince Kuzmenko to waive his no trade clause to come to the Flyers, which is still hilarious to me. He said, "Yeah, okay." Shows up, plays pretty well, goes to the Kings, got re-signed with the Kings, and has been healthy scratched like 2 times this season, I think.
Hell yeah.
Oh, but Joe, who didn't have a no trade clause that just got traded?
Oh, that would be Quinn Hughes. And guess what, guys? If that's the package that the Wild were giving up, the Flyers were never, ever getting Quinn Hughes. If we're looking in reality, they would have had to give up one of Michkov or Martone to at least match that. And I do not want to see one single person saying,
Don't give him any breath, Joe. I know what you're going to say about a certain defenseman that was traded. If the Flyers had drafted him, no.
Flyers fans would have lost their shit if the Flyers had traded said defenseman. They would have been like, same old Flyers, making moves, thinking they're a contender. Not caring about the future. Danny's no different than anyone before. He can't win.
At least Minnesota is like the full evolution of Matvei Michkov. We have Charmander Michkov. They have Charizard Michkov.
Mega Charizard.
Yeah. Shiny Charizard. So
it makes sense.
It makes sense for them. It makes sense for both sides, I think, honestly. I like to rag on the Canucks because they are, especially up here, I don't know how the perception is of them down in the States is, but they are kind of a joke here ever since 2011. They are a bit of a punchline. So they do make a lot of really bad decisions, and unfortunately, it has not been a great month for Italian adjacent people who run hockey-related enterprises, as the Aquilinis once again trip over their own feet and lose the best player, the best defenseman they've had since Hamilton's own Kevin Bieksa retired, or somebody else. I don't know. I just wanted to say that. But regardless, I think they get a very good package. Like Marco Rossi, the Flyers don't have an equivalent to Marco Rossi, really. Like Cates doesn't. Zegras is different though because he just got traded. Like at this moment in time, and Zegras, I just don't think like they would dealing a guy that soon after. It's just one of those things that's poor taste. But it's like
weird, yeah,
yeah. In the NHL circles, they just don't do it. If it was the NBA, like fuck it, he's gone. But in the NHL, for some reason, it just doesn't happen as often. Except for good old Andrei Kuzmenko. The
UFA different.
Yeah, he already has bags packed. He doesn't care. The thing with Mr. Zeev and Marco Rossi, like that's as good of a package as you're going to get from anyone in the league. Like I don't think there's not often that two potential stars like that get dealt in the same trade with a first round pick and with Liam Ogren, who, if he did turn out, is also another, middle six NHL player. Yep. He's already in the NHL as it stands on a good hockey team, right? Like he's not playing for the Kraken. He's playing for a team that's in the playoffs, and it is very good and has really good forwards and forward depth, right?
And so, if you consider it another way, that's 4 first round picks. The actual draft pick, Ogren, Rossi, and Bouillon are also first round draft picks. So
and all either relatively young in Rossi's case or like very young in everyone else's, like Ogren and Bouillon, like their case. So
and
it would be Martone. Like what do you think it would be? It'd be Martone, York, have a 2 first.
Yeah.
Bobby Brink.
I'm hesitant to think it would be Martone. Like I don't know if they'd rather trade Martone, because I think Forster would be the guy. Forster is like the most equivalent to Rossi, I think.
But he's not a center. That's
I know
the deal breaker.
Yes, I think when you account the fact that the Flyers don't have a center to trade, that just means they have to trade more wingers.
It will be Jet, Forster, Jet.
If it's Jet, then I think it's Forster,
like
Jet,
Andre.
If it's Jet instead of Rossi, like if Jet fills Rossi's sort of position in the trade, I think you need to then add like another tertiary asset that's also very good.
So would it be like Forster, Jet, Andre, and Bump or something like that?
I don't think that gets you there. I think it would
that's
have to
even
be
less. Yeah, it would be a pick on top of that.
Well, yeah,
or you would get rid of Bump and put in like
I don't think they talk
Bobby Brink or like
the Flyers just didn't have the pieces. And like the only what if I would say is like, okay, what if you did trade for Rossi in the offseason? Would the Flyers then flip Rossi to get Quinn Hughes? Because Quinn Hughes doesn't become available very often, but I don't think the Flyers would do that. And Canucks made out fantastic on this deal. Like this is a deal that would be made with like a sign and trade with like a long-term contract in hand. Like I don't think Quinn Hughes is going to re-sign in Minnesota. And like Zeev Bouillon already has a goal and an assist for the Canucks. Marco Rossi is suddenly healthy enough to play now that he got traded to Vancouver, and Ogren could be something. So credit to Bill Guerin. He said this was their first offer to Vancouver, and he ponied up for him. So like just no, maybe he could be lying. You never know with these hockey men, but Minnesota's going for it. But Minnesota to me just always feels like an irrelevant team that will never win a Stanley Cup, and I don't know if anything can change that.
I mean, their goaltending tandem is pretty fucking good. Their power play is going to be dope. Like the biggest thing, the biggest thing in their way is the fact that they're in the Central and they're going to have to get either the Avs or the Stars in the first round, unless they like gamesmanship their way into a wild card spot so that they have to get a rematch with the Golden Knights as a wild
card. The Panthers do that a few years ago, last year maybe. One of the or the Lightning to play the Leafs.
The Lightning, I think, tried to do that, didn't they?
Yeah,
I don't remember exactly what it was.
Maybe the John Cooper thing to do. Yeah, I think it was the Lightning.
To take it back to the top of the show, if the Red Wings win the Atlantic, I would be totally cool with the Flyers falling into a wild card spot that would put them on a collision course with Detroit. I think that team we could wax them in a playoff situation.
I think the Flyers could reasonably sweep the Detroit Red Wings, and that is not saying anything good about the Flyers. I just like what do I have to be worried about? The Alex Lyon shutout.
John Gibson had a
John Gibson. Where is Alex Lyon now? Is he's
in Buffalo?
He's in Buffalo, right? Okay, so he's in Buffalo. Don't even have to worry about the Alex Lyon shutout anymore. That was always a fear of mine whenever him or Stolarz were on playoff teams. And Bob, obviously. Bob is a given, though. We all know the Bob curse is happening. But, there's too many of them floating around now. So, without the John Gibson does not scare me at all at this point, unfortunately, for John. I did like John Gibson for a very long time, and he was a very good goaltender. At this point, he's just gotten beat down by the Ducks for so many years. I don't know if he has anything left.
You know what, Joe? You know what saying the Red Wings could win the Atlantic Division is? It's Joe's big stretch of the week from Joe there.
That is definitely a big stretch. Yeah.
They're in second place.
I don't even think the Red Wings believe that. How many points separate second from like fourth? One.
Canadians are in third with one. Yeah, Bruins with one, and our good friends at FanDuel have the Red Wings at 13-1 to win the Atlantic, behind the Senators, Canadians, Panthers, and Lightning. There. So
they also, I just realized it. The Red Wings have a -5 goal differential.
Yeah.
So that doesn't bode well.
And they're second in the division. That's good.
Yeah.
But so Alex Lyon is in Buffalo, but Kevin Adams is no longer in Buffalo.
He's not in Buffalo anymore.
Could hopefully start to signal of some sort of movement going on with the Sabres. We know they have a bunch of defensemen after getting Bo Byram, Owen Power. Tage Thompson is my white whale out there. So I think that's the next team to look at for a potential big target. Them along with, I would really like Robert Thomas. I feel like Robert Thomas would be an ideal center for Michkov.
So I have been keeping up with the Blues because I do happen to write a little bit about this.
I heard.
I do bleed blue.
Yes.
Apparently, Doug Armstrong has indicated, this is from like a week or so ago, so maybe it's changed, but like Robert Thomas and Snuggerud and I think one other player are all off limits in terms of trade talks. So Kyrie's on the table, but Kyrie doesn't help this team at all. And I don't know. I think if you wanted to get Robert Thomas out of there, you'd first have to convince Doug Armstrong to part with him, and then convince Robert Thomas because he has a NMC. So
yeah. But someone like Robert Thomas is like a 1C that people don't view as a 1C.
You'd probably have better luck getting Tage Thompson than Robert Thomas.
Yeah. And I would argue that Marco Rossi can be a 1C. Everyone's saying like, oh, Marco Rossi's a good 2C. I feel like he can be one of those, Aho Larkin tier 1Cs where you put him with two good wingers and he's pretty good. But who knows what the Canucks do at wing in the next few years. Brock Besser's still there, so
that was dumb. Why'd they do that?
Yeah, I don't know. The Sabres though, like obviously you go on a 3-game win streak and then fire your GM. But after doing that, it's hard to resist the temptation of just trading for Isak Rosen. Just get him back. Just reverse history. Just get him back in, bring him back to where he should have been the whole time. And, maybe you can also grab Thomas Williams' favorite player in the NHL, Matthias Samuelsson, at the same time.
Matthias Samuelsson, we were talked about him a lot in the offseason as like someone that would be a cap dump for them. And, maybe it still kind of would be because he has 5 more years on his deal. But like, I wouldn't mind taking him back, him being a partner for Jamie Drysdale or like a third pair guy, get him along with, Thompson, because Thompson has a good contract. I do just wonder if Thompson is getting up there in age where it doesn't quite fit the Flyers timeline.
Yeah.
But like I said, 1Cs don't become available too often. And if
he's not even
out there,
he's not playing center. Josh Norris is playing center.
He's not playing center.
Yeah.
He is not a good face-off taker. So
also,
we'll just be
it's kind of the exact same problem we already have at the same time, but it would be really cool.
Yes, and I would say, as much as I would like to pilfer whatever we can from the Buffalo Sabres because they're dumb,
Yuri Kulich time.
Jarmo isn't the dumbest GM, so I think you'd have a harder time with that. The second thing is none of the moves make sense in season. Like I don't think for the Flyers or the Sabres it makes sense to make these trades now. It feels like it's something that would happen in the summer. Because I would imagine Jarmo's going to try and play this season out, maybe make some peripheral moves, and then in the summer he'll have a hand in some bigger changes. But shit, if Rasmus Dahlin ever says I want out, you go. I don't care what you got to give up. I don't care that his contract is enormous. If you can get Rasmus Dahlin in a Flyers uniform, you make it happen. And I bet you could do it for a lot less than what you gave up for Quinn Hughes.
And that's what the thing is about the Sabres. Like, they have so many guys who in a vacuum I absolutely love as hockey players. Like Alex Tuch, when he was on the Knights, when he was on the Wild, was a monster. Alex Tuch had 36 goals last year. I don't think anybody knew that happened.
I did. He was on my fantasy team.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that I forgot that's everybody knows everything happens now. I found out there's a guy, rest in peace to Jacoby Jones. There's another Jacoby Jones who also plays wide receiver in the NFL now. Because my fantasy teams have been named after Jacoby Jones for a very long time because I don't know much football, and the only football that I watched when I was a kid was the Ravens beating the Cardinals in the Super Bowl, and Jacoby Jones had a kickoff return touchdown. So everybody knows whatever random player is in every sport now. There are no good pulls anymore because of fantasy sports. Regardless, back to the Sabres. Like Tuch, Thompson, Rosen, Ryan McLeod, Yuri Kulich, Peyton Krebs, Bauer. That's not Benson. We're not even getting to the guys on defense, right? Like even you said, Dahlin, Byram, Jacob Bryson. Like they're all interesting names. It's just like they don't fit together. They're all very bad as a collective, and they've never been able to change it. And I don't think like trading all these guys helps because they're talented. Josh Doan, I love Josh Doan. I mean, he looks like he's going to be a pretty good player, but I don't know what it is in Buffalo. They just don't have a cohesive system.
I just have a quick question for Jacob. Is there like a Jacoby Jones like pun in there I'm missing, or like what is your team name with him?
No, Jacoby was like people called me Jacoby when I was growing up. Like, it was kind of like a mocking thing. Okay. Yeah, because Jacob, and then like I don't know. I just thought he was really cool. He's a kick returner. I was just your team name.
Jacoby Jones was just your team name.
No, it's like it changes. The start of every year changes. Like the first year was doing it for Jacoby Jones, and now this year it's trying again for Jacoby Jones. And then if we win, it will be winning for Jacoby Jones. But if we don't win, I'm gonna have to have another prefix that I come up with later at a later date. But we won the first round, so I'm not thinking about what next year's will be because we're going to win the championship. That's all we need to talk about.
Best of luck to Jacoby
the end
Jones.
Of the story. Thank you. Yeah, best of luck to Jacoby Jones for sure.
You mentioned Josh Doan. I think the Sabres did pretty well in the Paterka trade, getting him in Kesselring. But the other thing...
It doesn't matter. They still stink. So
they still stink.
You can do well in all these trades.
Gilbs, does FanDuel have an over-under on the number of days until Lindy Ruff is fired and replaced with John Tortorella?
They don't. I know you can bet on next coach fired or has there been a coach fired yet? Would it be would still be first coach fired, right? Because I know that's a market.
No, it's
that
just
some
GM, right?
places have. Yeah, I don't think any coaches have been fired.
No coaches have been
like,
fired yet.
The Kings have done okay, and like no one else has really been on the hot seat. So no, that's definitely out there. Maybe in some states at FanDuel there. Yeah.
Lindy Ruff, next coach fired.
Yeah. Tortorella's going there very, very soon there. Yeah, but some of these Sabres like Josh Stone, like some of these just like depth defensemen. I feel like you could maybe make a trade for them in season to add maybe a third line winger or something. But like, yeah, I don't see Briere taking this locker room apart. Who has the cops after them right now?
Yeah, that's Joe. That's got to be Joe. Joe said something. Joe said that the Red Wings are going to win the Atlantic, and then they sent the police to his house.
Yeah, they
sent the police to his front door.
Yeah,
and they said, "Please, sir, do not say that.
You know,
do not incite the public this way."
You know for real that I live in South Philly when you can hear that over the pod mic. So I tried to mute it, but then it came on anyway.
Like that was multiple squad cars.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. South Philly is it's South Philly, baby.
Yeah.
They're headed to the Columbus statue, I'm sure.
Oh, they definitely are headed down towards May. Yeah. So do we think that the Flyers might still try to get someone from the Canucks, like a Sherwood type? Like I kind of have a semi tinfoil hat theory that Danny was like, all right, let's call up Grundstrom. Let's see how he does. And if not, we can maybe make a move for Sherwood. But like Sherwood, he's a fourth liner, right? He's like a fourth liner that could maybe fill in on the third line. But I don't think there's anyone else in Vancouver. Like Connor Garland would be great, but his contract would not. And like there's no one else on that team that really interests me too much.
I want a pending UFA. I know it sounds stupid that we should be getting a rental, but if you're going to trade for like someone from Vancouver, I want them probably gone in the summer, because you have probably for sure Martone pushing for a roster spot, and you need a winger slot open for that. Maybe Bump or Barkey is like pushing for a roster spot at camp next year. I don't want to be hamstrung with a long-term contract to an aging winger just because he's a Tocchet guy.
Yeah, and this is what also is upsetting me too, is you're already factoring into the equation that Hathaway and Delorier or somebody of that ilk, or Rodrigo Abels or something, are just going to be hanging around on the fourth line again. Like we're just going to have a couple guys just kind of hanging around to play 50 games a year and not play well, and they're going to be sluggish, but they have to be there.
Delorier's done after this year, so it's going to be Hathaway.
Yeah. And and Abels only has, this is his last year as well, and like
it's more about the archetype of the player, though, right? Like,
I guess. But what fighter are they going to sign?
Especially with Tocchet. It's not even a fighter. It's just getting like
it's Hathaway is just like
guy.
just a 30-year-old, just kind of a Nick Seeler. Like Nick Seeler to me is pretty inoffensive in terms of like a guy you have as the coach. The coach puts in as like the kind of the adult in the room sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not you need that, but like Hathaway up to this point has been terrible. Nick Delorier, whenever he plays, is completely useless on the ice. Rod the Bod, unfortunately, may not be the one. They do get points when he plays.
Rod the Bod Abels. Rod the Abels. That's the fourth line is Rod. The fourth line always going to be an issue, I think, especially when you have someone like Rick Tocchet as head coach. Like he's not gonna put guys there that can chip in offensively, because that's not what he puts them on the ice to do. He puts them on the ice to kill a minute, to give his other guys some rest. And if they score, fantastic. If they don't allow a goal, great. Like just be neutral, kill some time out there, and let the other three lines do some work. But yeah, like what's happening with like Carson Dorwart? Like he was thrown into the mix as like a name in the summer to watch out for. I know he's not doing anything. I don't want him up. I'm just wondering, like, why even mention him? Why even mention Devin Kaplan? Why even mention these guys when you have Abels up here?
No, that's literally that's just what I'm saying, right? Like, you don't want to sign. We were talking about signing Dvorak, like not even signing Dvorak, but the possibility that Dvorak could come back, right? He's been very good, despite the limitations that he has as a player, as offensively, especially, right? And I think some of the hesitation comes from that is like, you don't see them using Christian Dvorak as a fourth liner. He's going to play up. If you're going to bring Christian Dvorak in, it doesn't seem like he'll be able to be knocked down to the point where he's a fourth liner. They'll have this sort of idea in their head that he's going to play mid six, third line wing at the latest, or at the furthest down the lineup. Sorry. Right. So you bring in these guys and you give them these certain archetypes, and at a certain point, it's like Garnet Hathaway now can't have a bad game. Like, he, in the eyes of the coach, he really can't do anything wrong, because his general sort of mission when he gets the ice is to do nothing, is to make sure nothing happens or he fights somebody, and he hasn't fought anybody. And I don't think I really even want to, because half the time it's not what he's in there for, and he's not doing anything to motivate the team in a certain way. It's not like the Delorier fights a lot of the time aren't spur of the moment things. They're more like scripted, thought out before, scripted, contrived, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So yeah, it is a little bit frustrating to see that we'll never have, or to see that it seems like we'll never have that sort of fourth line that can, like the Daryl Powes of the world, the Blair Betts of the world. Like, you're out there and you're doing something. Like, you're out there and you have a purpose.
Ryan Poehling.
I was going to say,
Ryan Poehling is the best example. He was there, and obviously you trade him. That was a good job. That was a good idea.
Yeah.
But that's the archetype of a guy you can have. If you want a Hathaway guy, get somebody who can play hockey and also throws the body around.
Is Poehling a pending UFA?
He might be. He might have one more year, or he's a pending UFA.
I think
I'm starting to now.
He's a pending UFA. He's a pending UFA.
I'm starting to now.
Bring him back.
Bring him back.
Yeah,
bring back Ryan Poehling.
Yeah,
he'd be great.
Yeah.
He loved it here.
He was very good here. That's the type of guy that you need, and he's still capable of. It's the same with Grundstrom. That's why I banged the Grundstrom. I was gonna say the Grums, I think was what I was gonna say. I was gonna say banging the drums, but then I got confused with Grund.
Gotcha.
I'm banging the Grums.
There's something there. There's something there.
No, it wasn't purposeful. That's why I was banging the drum for Grundstrom, because he can do something out there. He gets the puck in the neutral zone and it's a one-on-one. He'll go get a shot off.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm asking for, massive strides forward. Sometimes those shots will go in. And Hathaway, I'll give him that. He did have some games last year where that was what he was doing, and stretches where he did legitimately look good. So it's not like he's been a complete slug for the entire time he's been here. But it is a little frustrating to know that that's probably not what we're going to see for the lion's share of the time. Like the Grabankin fourth line, with a couple guys from the AHL who have some skill, or Grabankin with a guy like Tony Dick if he came back,
or
up.
Even
That's
Grundstrom.
just not going to happen.
Get a gag fourth line. Get Grundstrom, Abels, and Grabankin. Get the gag fourth line.
It just seems like that's more useful. You don't gagging your opponents. Is great.
Yeah.
It's great.
That would be great. And the thing about Poehling, he was a first round pick. Grundstrom, a second round pick. You need to find these guys that have skill, that have been able to be all right, I'm not skilled enough to be top six in the NHL, but all right, I'll work my ass off and be a bottom sixer, like Scott Lawton did after he was sent back down. That's what you need to find. That's why when guys when Tomasino, Philip Tomasino was on waivers, I was like, let's claim this guy. Let's see what he can do. And now he has 12 points in 8 AHL games, and he's still with the Penguins. He'll come up and he'll score a goal against the Flyers later this season. Get these guys that have skill.
He actually grew up near my house.
Oh, do you know his family? We were on the same bus as him or anything?
No, not one of those guys.
Not quite, but no,
not one of those guys.
Yeah, I really appreciate, Jacob, how much you bang the drum about using your fourth line. It's there, use it. You don't have to have these fighters.
It's not even the fighters, right? I look back on those Kings teams. We had Jared Nolan, you had Derek King, and Trevor Lewis was there. Trevor, right? I always get confused. Trevor Lewis and the shortstop for the Kyle Lewis. Anyways, but Trevor Lewis, those that's a good fourth line. That is a fourth line that hemmed guys into the zone. They were physical. They played heavy, but they could play together as a line, and they weren't out there getting caved in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they weren't out there being a net negative just for the sake of physicality. You can find guys who play physical or maybe didn't even play physical when they started their career, and they just learned to play physical, like, you know, a grizzled AHL guy. You can get those guys in. There's a lot of guys who are on the replacement level line who you just need to sort of cycle in and out, who, you know, maybe one of them just works. Ryan Poehling just worked. Nobody thought Ryan Poehling was going to be good.
For the last 2 or 3 seasons, Hathaway worked too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Most of his
you just got to know when to turn that over. It just has to turn over. The Panthers, it seems like they use a new fourth liner every game, you know, last year as well, right? A lot of different guys. And then AJ Greer pops up and Evan Rodriguez pops up. And that's how you get these guys. Like, again, AJ Greer, either a first or a second round pick. He was a relatively high selection a while back, but another guy learned how to play a bit more physical, gets in the lineup, and now he's a guy that teams would actually want. He's not really anything special. Yeah. I mean, that's what it is about. And they got rid of Lawton
for a first round pick and Gurbankin. Fantastic
and they made a great deal to get rid of him. But that's the type of guy you need to get back in, though.
Well,
or you need to find that guy again. Like the Poehling and the Lawton that you got out, you have to be auditioning to find that next player.
I do wonder if they truly thought Dvorak would be that, or if they thought Dvorak would be more of a middle 6 option rather than a bottom 6 option. Because I know the money doesn't matter for 1 year, but you don't pay $5 million to a fourth liner. Like,
no, I 100% thought that he's a middle 6 guy.
Okay, yeah, and I'm just looking at the Hurricanes' fourth line. Taylor Hall is on their fourth line. Mark Jankowski, another first round pick, and Eric Robinson. Like, their third line is one of the best in play driving in the league. Martin Luke-Stahl Carrier. Like,
but Mark Jankowski also played for the Flames and sucked for like years. He could never break through. He was like a bust. He went to the Predators. Another one with the Predators I always like to look at. Michael McCarron, when he came up as a prospect with the Habs, he was supposed to be like this next generation power forward, really good player, top first line winger. Does not pan out at all. Goes to the AHL, plays. Now he's back with the Predators. Obviously not a good team, the Predators, but a big body who plays with size and isn't a complete bum out there, right? Like, these are just you don't really serve yourself by keeping Hathaway any longer now, or giving even Abels, right? You kind of know what he is. I like him. He's not bad, but he's not anything special. You can find a Rodrigo Abels a dime a dozen somewhere in the SHL if you want to find him. He's probably over there again, and you just got to cycle through until you find a Poehling, and then you trade that guy for more assets, and that's how you kind of create organizational depth from within. You know, it's like playing a franchise in NHL if it worked.
Hey, if they can find a taker for Hathaway, you do it. But I do have faith. Maybe he scores a point this week on the road. Maybe.
Should we start just betting Garnet Hathaway point?
I don't think they even offer fourth liner points.
That's just fraudulent, isn't it?
What about Risto?
Fraud.
Risto might get a point before Hathaway at this rate. If he's on the road trip, he could play.
I think he will. I think he will. Yeah, I think he will. Speaking
of
that road trip, Any closing thoughts here on the fourth line or anything before we get into our predictions and close it out?
It is what it is, and
a very good discussion there.
Yeah, it is what it is, and we just kind of have to ride it out until something changes. It's exactly what Tocchet said like a week ago, right? Like, this is what we got. I'm going to play him. So
I have one final thing just for all the commenters before you comment. Yes, the fourth line doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things if Matvei Michkov and the Flyers top guys are not playing well, but you want to optimize every line, every spot on your roster. That's what it is. And sure, the fourth line doesn't matter. Might matter 2 points plus or minus in the standings, but like, it's about the philosophy and building the right way and having the right roster.
It's not even about the points for me at all. I don't even care as much when Delorier is out there. They get scored on, they get hemmed into the zone or give up an a defensive zone face-off. That is irrelevant, largely. I want to see all the guys in Lehigh Valley get at least a shot to play, because there's really no reason not to have them come up. Like, even they're doing it with Murchison. Like nobody told them to bring Murchison up. It could have been very easy. Just bring Yinning up. It could have been very easy to bring Helgi Grounds up. It could have been easy to just put Zamula in. Yeah. But they bring up Murchison. Hey, look, now there's a guy who in the future, I don't know, he's 22 years old. Maybe he has some good AHL time whenever he inevitably goes back down. And then maybe that's something you look towards for the future. If you can do that on forward when injuries arise, like they have with Forster, maybe you uncover, something for the future that you didn't know you had.
Yeah, exactly. Get these guys in there. Maybe we see in the new year, once the systems are more in place at both levels, we see more stuff like that with Forster out. But I just want to shout out Joe and I for our prediction. Both of us said a 3-2 overtime loss against Vegas.
First one we got right all season.
Yeah, and then I said 4-3 overtime loss to Carolina. That was a 4-3 shootout loss. So very close. Very close there for the home to Carolina game. This week we have at Montreal on Tuesday night. We have at Buffalo on Thursday night, and then at the Rangers. I believe that's Saturday. I think it's like a 12:30 start there for
nice.
That one, bright and early. It's
kick off the holiday
easy
season.
Easy schedule now. At Montreal, I'm seeing a 4-2 win.
They didn't get a goalie yet, right? So I'm gonna say 5-3 win.
All right, Jacob, you can get in on this.
I'm gonna go with 5-4 win.
Regulation,
yes, regulation win. 5-4 regulation.
Yeah. At Buffalo, Joe, what do you think?
4-3 overtime loss.
Okay, Russ.
New GM bump.
I can never pick the Sabres. 5-2 Flyers.
Ooh. I'm gonna go 4-1 Flyers. I think it's gonna be a nice, easy game like it was against the Sharks there. At the Rangers, Russ, what do you got?
I'm gonna pick 3 straight wins, aren't I?
That's what we all usually do.
I'm gonna take the Flyers 4-3 in overtime.
All right.
So I have a question. Do you think we get Shesterkin in that game? Like, are the Rangers playing on a back-to-back? Because they played 5 times this week.
Pulling up the schedule. They are in St. Louis, and then they come home to play the Flyers, and the next day they are in Nashville. So I imagine they'll use the starter for the division game. So I think we do get Shesterkin.
I mean, the Rangers are terrible, but Shesterkin's still really good. So I'm gonna go with like a 3-2 overtime loss.
I'm going to another 4-2 win. 4 goals in all 3 games.
I'm changing it to 3-2 shootout win.
3-2 shootout.
Oh,
I forgot about Shesterkin briefly.
Easy to forget about. The Rangers there.
Yeah, well, even if Quick's in, honestly, no, it doesn't even matter. Quick's been good. Quick's actually been really good. So I don't even know if it really matters. Go 4-3 shootout win. 4-3. Put it on there. I'm staying.
It's 4-3. You're locked in.
4-3. We're locked in. I don't think we're ever going to score in overtime. I don't even know why I picked overtime. I don't believe in that at all. So
no. Right. Yeah. Once again, thanks to FanDuel for sponsoring us. Make sure you read BroadStreetHockey.com, subscribe to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. Joe, where can the people find you on socials?
You can find me on Blue Sky at jfdemarini.bsky.social. Jacob, thank you for joining us. Where can the people find you on socials?
I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Twitter. Very, very, very infrequently. I would just like for you to go and follow the Broad Street Hockey Instagram. That's just what I would like for you to do. Yes. You will be able to hear my voice in some of the captions sometimes, and if you don't, it's because it was Gilb's.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram. I always mean to plug that, and then I don't. So follow the Instagram.
I will do it for you. I do not care. Hockey. I do not care what. You don't have to read what I'm putting on Twitter or Blue Sky. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, just get the shit posts on Instagram.
There. Yeah. That's the important stuff.
Yes. You can follow me on Blue Sky at RyanGilbert.bsky.social. And until next time, thanks for listening.
Go Flyers.